Now back to Talk Shop Asia Global USA Edition. Only here on V81 Radio Worldwide.
Welcome back to Talk Shop Asia Global USA Edition here at V81 Radio Global Worldwide. And today's episode is focused about people, and it's about you, because as we said earlier, that as the economy reopens, with businesses opening up, with more, of course, with health protocols being observed, the future of 2021 is with your people, because there is no other way to build businesses but through your people. So it's very timely. You've seen the teaser video of the World Stage International Network has an ongoing event called Awesome People Conference during the November 25 to January 20, led by Managing Director PUA. Cherry PUA Africa, rather. So let's get started, and let's have the banner, Miguel.
Challenges are the clear products of the pandemic. Things may not be solved the same way before. Thus, creativity is needed to move forward, to see beyond. Let us decipher the adaptive and authentic ways for a new landscape roadmap for businesses. Reimagining the business industries beyond the pandemic.
So let's get started. Now, our first guest today is Cherry Africa PUA. Cherry PUA Africa is recently awarded the top 100 most influential Filipino women of the world. And on top of it, she is also one of Asia's most distinguished woman leaders. Cherry is an international keynote speaker, an author, a coach, and the founder and the master of Transformation Rockstar of World Stage International. She is a thought leader in the field of neuro-linguistic programming and a masterclass trainer in Singapore. You see, Cherry is currently affiliated with the NLP University, based in the University of California as a global NLP trainer. So, the Fascinate Laboratory in the USA. So the Association of NLP in the United Kingdom and the Firewalking Institute of Research and Education, with a global reach of international coaches and firewalking instructors around the world. A widely followed transformation coach in Asia, Cherry is an awakener of the awesomeness in people, having helped 500,000 individuals and businesses achieve breakthrough results. So she's an NLP trainer from NLPU University of California, a master trainer of World Stage International, a masterclass trainer in Singapore, a firewalking trainer, a Fascinate Laboratory advisor, a UP Magna Cum Laude, a coach, a trainer, an energizer, mind breaker, and mind blower writer. Ladies and gentlemen, let me present to you the awesome Managing Director of the World Stage International Network, Cherry PUA Africa.
Good morning.
Hello,
good morning, good day, good evening, Rosario. Thank you so much for having me here in this awesome universe of yours.
Wow. Well, you look amazing, my gosh. I like your background. It's very well framed and so forth. But anyways, I like your bio is so incredible. You were awarded as one of the most influential Filipino women in the world and Asia's most distinguished. And you talk of influence. You know, we talk of influence here. You're one of the most influential women in the world, and we talk of influence. And one of your posters says, your influence and not your fluency is your biggest currency. I just want to show that a poster of yours, because it's quite interesting the way you kept that one. Miguel, can we see that poster quickly? See, that poster of yours clearly says, your influence and not your fluency is your biggest currency. What do you mean by this? Can we take that poster out now, Miguel? What do you mean by this, influence versus fluency?
I think when you talk about fluency, there's a lot of proficiency, there's a lot of competence around that word. And while it's true, we need competence. If we are not able to guard our message, if we are not able to put forth that message to the world, it is really just, a set and a string of words. It's nothing, right? It's just a string of ideas. So what we need to do is to make sure that whatever it is that we generate from our mind and from our own competencies, we're able to actually just share it to the world so that they could shift and move the world to somewhere better in a more positive way. I think that's what it means.
So if I would capture that in briefly, is say that no matter what competencies you have and skills, if you do not spread it to the world to influence them and to see it in the mind shift that will be better in their life, then your competency is nothing unless you put that in the right place to influencing people. Is that what you mean?
Correct. You're not shifting, you're not moving. And as leaders, we need to make sure that, we move our capacities and our capabilities, our resources to move people, teams, results to a different place. And that is
Amazing.
influence.
I really like the way you really coined it. It's really, it's your influence and not your fluency that would really matter. Now, you have a brand name also as a master transformation rock star. How have you maintained such a master transformation rock star with a pandemic? In short, how were you able to innovate and pivot and things like that? But first of all, what made you a rock star?
Well, rock star is a word that we use in our training to actually talk about two things and two elements. That is a rock and that is a star. The rock being, we're actually, here placed in this world. We have a space in this universe to keep on pushing our own rock. So that is actually our hero's journey. And we do it one starfish, one star at a time. Now, one person at a time, one result at a time, one department at a time. So that is actually what rock star means. So nothing about this, nothing so buoyant about, being a rock star, being a superstar, being famous and all. It's all about our mission, as individuals here on earth to make this place better than we found it. And when when there's a word before that, rock star, which is master, because we are always in pursuit for excellence. Diba? And we want to be a master of something. We don't want just to be an ordinary person. We want to be ordinary people doing extraordinary things. And hence, that label is actually a daily reminder to me of the mission that I am actually playing in this world. And this is what, I have accepted. And it's the journey that I'm actually, listening to.
Amazing. So it's a master transformation rock star.
Mhm.
So I know that you have a conference going on, and I'd like Miguel to show this, that you have a conference called the Awesome People Conference, right? And you have this 4 series or 4 episodes. So just tell us about these 4 episodes very briefly before we take up each of them on a we dive into it.
Yes, Risorio, we call it an Awesome People Conference. That is basically the general theme of the entire 4-day session. And then we've just basically segmented it and organized it in parcels, in portions of things that we feel are important in order to develop awesome people. So these are the 4 main elements divided in 4 different days. But in reality, how we perceive it and how we see it is that this is really not just a conference. It's actually the start of a movement. We wanted to create a movement, some sort of a crusade to remind people, hey, you're awesome and you're meant to do awesome work. And in case you're forgetting, the pandemic is so huge that it sort of confused our mission, our calling, our journey, and our roles as leaders or as followers. Let us all remind ourselves again, this continues to be an awesome universe, an awesome world, an awesome workplace, and we continue to be the awesome people that we were born to become.
Wow. So basically you have 4 episodes of the team, the awesome life, the awesome communicator, and the awesome leader.
Yes.
So these 4 things we're going to be talking about. And I think what you're saying here is that the pandemic, unfortunately, has depleted our, how do I call this? Our enthusiasm in life. Sometimes it has depleted it. And this is the time to be reminded that the life out there is so awesome that you shouldn't waste it just because there is a pandemic, right? So let's take away that poster now, because we want to talk about each of those segments of your show, or as you call it, it's not a conference, but what did you call it again? It is a movement, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, it is
Yes,
a movement.
it is a movement.
Yeah, if I understand, it's a movement because people being in a pandemic situation are feeling down and depleted. So there is a need for a movement to revive your
Mm.
soul and your being and your purpose in here, not just because it's a pandemic that you're going to be hostage forever and ever in this one. But first of all, you called it awesome. Why the word awesome? Why not any other adjectives like dynamic, creative, powerful, influential? Why awesome?
Because awesome is superlative. No, there is nothing that's gonna be greater than awesome. You talk about good, there's better, there's best. And when we actually put ourselves in a position where we keep comparing, it is actually so frustrating and so tiring to the soul. Awesome really means, we are perfect. Imperfect beings, but we are actually living in perfect combination with each other. We are, utilizing our talents in the most creative, powerful way. And it begins with this little word in the word awesome, which is awe. Diba?
Mm-hmm.
Awe puts you
Yeah.
in a state of magic. Awe puts you in a state of talagang, diba? You look at
Yeah.
something so huge, diba?
In
Namamangha ka, you
awe.
look at something
Yeah.
so huge, right? And
Yeah.
something so magnificent and brilliant. And what does that make you? That makes you so small. And that brings you to a state of humility. And in that state of humility, we stop putting our hand like this. We stop opening. We start to open up. We start to wonder. We start to be curious. We start to ask questions. These are important components in creating and transformation.
Wow.
Hence, it's the most powerful state, I believe, to begin magic and to begin creation and transformation again.
Yeah, I like that. I'm in awe listening
Mhm.
to all what you're saying, really.
Thank
And
you. Mhm.
and in this pandemic, and I see that your first episode or series of your Awesome People Conference is about the team. It's awesome team. So
Mhm.
let's start with your home, meaning not your home, but your own company of World Stage International as a team. How have you pivoted your team under the new normal of techno shift? It's quite different. How did you revive the team spirit?
Oh my greatness. It is so hard, Rosario, di ba? When this pandemic began, it was all confusion. I think it's not just for people in my team, but for almost, everyone here. We have been talking about prior to the pandemic, a lot of future proofing ourselves, our system, our people. But then we have been really very complacent in terms of our spirits. Now we're taking our time. We're not really very agile. And then one day we woke up to this pandemic that actually just made us all naked, gave us a big black eye, and caused us to actually be down on our knees. And we have no other choice but to rise up, be resilient, relentless, and move forward. Hence, there's no time to actually really just wallow, no time to actually, just whine. And there's, we cannot just have agile spirits. We need to have fired up, fire-agile spirits in order to get there. So there's a lot of unlearning, relearning, mindset shift to a totally new universe. And that is actually frustrating and tiring. But I think what got us here to where we are right now, as I look back through all the change process that we had in the organization, is that we are together. It's the culture, that bound us together. We have been working inordinate amount of hours together. And if we are not together and strongly connected with each other, all the heavy lifting that is required in this period of transformation, it's not going to happen. We have pivoted. Technology has been one of our greatest friends, thanks to so many, things happening around us, and we're able to leverage on that fast, thanks to the many young people we work with. Hindi natin to language. No? We are trained and we grew up in an analog world, Rosario. So thank you so much to the magic of young people who actually help us to be a little bit more digital. And I guess, the concatenation, the coming together of these kinds of different energies just helped us. The diversity helped us a lot in transforming. So now we're able to actually conduct our trainings 100% online. We call it on live. We have
On
made
live.
it live and present, so that people continue to actually feel each other even when they're online.
I like what you've said. And, if I could just pick some of the words you're saying there, fragile versus agile. It's like our situation is so fragile with this pandemic, and to be agile is the thing to move forward to. That's one of the things that I captured in what you were saying. And the other thing, as you said, on live and not online, because there's so many online, and I've seen my son doing online schooling. He's online but he's not really live. You know what I mean? It's like, nah, not listening to you, but he's online technically, but not live with the spirit of engagement. And I think that's what you mean, is you're not just online, but you're on live, because you are engaging and you are part of this revolution of a virtual meeting as a team. And the other thing I heard about you, oh my God, and the analog, we are the babies of the analog. And thank goodness for the young ones that has put us into the digital format and move us forward to be there. But most of all, despite all of this technology, you spoke of culture. How can you keep the culture on fire in this online, on live team building? I think, if I'm not mistaken, your first conference of the episode 1 or series 1 of November 25 is about team. And I guess culture has been discussed there, is it?
Yes, definitely. It's, the main topic. It's the main star, culture. How do you build culture in an online setup? Well, culture is a verb. Culture, we declare our core values in culture at the very onset of when we formed organization. And then you hire people according to these core values. And then all of these people are the ones who will put life into it, who will embody it, and who will actually bring you through that journey. So every day is a process of discovery. Now, in this period, more than any part of the history of our culture, we are trying to relive it and to understand it again. Because when all of these confusion is happening, you have no other place to hold on to except your values, right? Before you even forge forward together. So to me, culture is a verb. It's something that we need to keep alive every time. It's something that needs to be part of our conversations. You talk about quality of work outputs. We need to talk about the quality of work outputs in many different layers and not just in the bottom line. We have to also talk about how people are relating to each other, how people need energy, how to fire up more people in the end to serve the mission of the company. But it has to be part of the conversation. So I guess, relationships continue to become an important component of online meetings, of this digital engagement. And it can happen. Rosario, I've seen a lot of magic happen. People laughing, people playing together, people, just trying to, get to know each other more. So I think this is actually the best time to develop culture.
That's very true, because I think this is the challenge with most companies now, is how do you keep the culture, the fire of the culture burning? Because the old ways is that they thought they can keep the culture when you see the people in the office, which isn't. It has taken it in a different space. That culture is really about the leadership and how do you treat your people. You said it right. It's about relationship, and how the relationship is carried through by the company dictates the culture of the company one way or another. So, as you said, culture is worth spending for, meaning, how do you say that? It's an investment on people at the end of the day. That is the
Yes.
spending you invest on your people, right? Now,
Yes.
sorry, you were saying something.
No, I just want to say, because a lot of times, diba, the partners are going to ask us, what's the ROI of that training? No? And definitely, we've actually tediously gone through the process of trying to understand more how much every training, comes back in terms of more value to the company. But I think the first question we need to ask is another form of ROI, and that's called return of inspiration. When people are inspired, they are bound to actually work so much more over and beyond their pay scale, and they will produce more outcomes. We will always remind people, especially people in my team, I'll always remind them, you were hired not to work from 8 to 5, you were hired to produce an outcome. And so every day, the question you have to ask yourself is, what did I do in order to contribute to the outcome of the company? That's a more important thing than just ask yourself, what did I do today? And I guess, the quality of our questions will actually derive the quality of our answers.
You know what? I like what I hear from you is a new term that you have coined that it hit me. It's the return of inspiration and not the return of investment. Because through inspiration, you inspire others. So it creates exponentially benefits of inspiring more, and people work more because they're inspired and they produce more. And therefore, it becomes an investment on people at the end of the day. So it's really amazing, all the things that I'm learning from you on this one. Now, Team. Because of work from home, we spoke about the team. I think these are the things you've spoken during your first episode. But the work from home has mixed the problems of the home and of the person and the problems of the office. They have now coined into one person, into one space. It's not like I go to the office, I forget the problems of the house, but not anymore. It's in one box. The problem of your home, the problem of you, and the problem of the office. So how do you have you molded that together, and how do you reconcile this in order to still create the team needed for the direction of the company without compromise to the direction of his family?
They are not opposing energy, Rosario. If I learn leadership skill, I will bring it to my home and become a better mother. As that is that is my expanded leadership role. And so, we are so used to, as human beings, compartmentalizing things and organizing it into categories. Work and life must be separate. Well, it's true to some extent, to just give a little bit of sense of order to us. It is also maybe the mindset that we should have is how wonderful it is, right? That, for one specific skill, we're able to address different parts of our life of being human, right? Communication skill can make us great leaders in companies. It can also make us great parents. And so, we have, this is going to be temporary anyway. No, we will go back to, at worst, perhaps a hybrid system where we will do 50% digital, 50% face-to-face eventually. And then when the vaccine really becomes, all pervasive, then we're going to go back to the offices. So enjoy this temporary situation where you're able to actually just minimize traffic, minimize, the exhaustion from going from place to place, and just, being able to do so many things in a short period of time. And for your family members to actually take a little peek at what you do at work, and for them to understand and appreciate you more. I think that this is a magical time, and we need to invite people, we bring sometimes people from families to our Zoom meetings just to say hello to mothers, to the brothers and sisters of the people that we work with, get to know each other more, put a little bit of a smile on their faces. So it is, we are probably asking the wrong question. How do we separate, or maybe the right question is, how do we harmonize, right? How do we harmonize in this temporary situation where work and life are together? Finally, we've been asking for this work-life balance. Remember, people craved and pined for this. And now it is here. Now we are complaining about it. So how can ever the human spirit be satisfied and contented? We just need to actually accept it as the new norm. And I guess prosper from that, and that's called progress.
I think you said it right. Is how do you put harmony in both, and to compartmentalize it when it's necessary. And I guarantee you that when the normal or the new normal comes in, that you can go to the office, a person will have a separation anxiety. They don't want to get out of the house anymore because they got used to it already, and they managed to juggle it and things like that. And mental health is very key in this area, because if you don't get to harmonize it or compartmentalize it when needed, mental health is a jeopardy unless you put your life, unless you take charge of your life, which will come in the next of your episodes as well.
Yes, correct. Rosario, if I may just share it a little bit. Mental health right now is an issue, that's actually prevalent in a lot of people, in companies, and even in homes. When you talk about the concept of double bind, meaning, damn if you do, damn if you don't, diba? It puts us in a situation where whatever it is that we do, we're not winning anymore. We're working so hard at home, but we're not winning. We're working so hard in our lives, but we're also not winning. We're fighting with family members. So, in that particular situation where you are in a double bind, it usually leads to either of two things. The first one is mental health issue. I feel stuck. I feel useless. I feel I don't have the resources, the capacity to actually move forward and make a better outcome out of this problem. And so I feel depressed. I feel anxiety. I feel worried. That's the first. But it is also in that particular state of confusion or double bind where our most creative energy can actually surface if we allow it. if we allow it, diba? So it's in situations where a lot of visionaries like Albert Einstein, right? They got stuck into this situation, and then they said, okay, this is the dead end. And then all of a sudden there's a brilliant aha moment, and then that's it. And I go back to your first question, Rosario. Awesome, right? It is, in this double bind, in this feeling of stuckiness, in this feeling of I don't know where to go anymore, where I put myself in a state of awe, in a state of being humble, and I try to just open myself up to answers, and there will be answers. We've got to believe that we have all the resources we need in order to get through our problems.
I like everything that I'm hearing from you, because I like the double bind, and how you said that the creative energy comes out at this moment, and it's up to you how you really utilize it, really, and comes
Yes.
of it. Now, I want to shift. Tony Hsieh, right? For our viewers there and listeners, that Tony Hsieh was an American internet entrepreneur and venture capitalist. He retired as a CEO of the online shoe and clothing company called Zappos in August 2020 after 21 years. But he also, prior to that, co-founded the internet advertising network called Link Exchange, which he sold in Microsoft for $265 million. So Tony just died, in the midst of the height of his career and success. He built a culture of happiness in Zappos. How do you feel about his work contribution to the people industry?
Before anything else, the death of Tony is, I don't know Tony on a personal base, but I'm feeling devastated and heartbroken. I was so close last year to actually join the culture camp, go to Las Vegas, to Zappos, to actually try and understand more the culture that he has built. Postponed it now, unfortunately. These things happen. I mean, his death is actually a big blow to culture. Tony has done such a magnificent work, and I think he's done legacy work. And I hope people get to read his book, get to follow his story about how he has actually impacted on people, placed a lot of focus on people, and then the scores will just take care of itself. So they don't call themselves a shoe company, right? They are a service company, and they happen to be selling shoes. That's what a wonderful way to describe your vision, your mission as an enterprise.
So at least, even for you who's already an awesome transformational rock star, you still look up to people that you are inspired for. I think that's very important.
Yes.
Is that you don't just lift yourself, but you look up to people that becomes your icon, or somebody that you would like to be a semblance of. Now, so you had this awesome team conference, and all we've been talking about is about awesomeness of your team and how you've pivoted your team to this new digitech and so forth and so on. So you had this in November 25, and you have 3 more episode series coming in, and from this episode you have the life, the communicator, and the awesome leader. So the next one is going to be about life, because we spoke about mental health and so forth. You got to get hold of your life and get it to the right track and things like that. I want Miguel to please show the banner for the life, please. Here you go. Unbreakable frames, unshakable confidence, the awesome life. And this is going to be on December 5, right?
Yes, it is going to be on December 5, this Saturday, Rosario. I'll be expecting you there.
Wow. I like also the way you've put the image there is a life of flying and your hands up, because it is like you're ready to embrace anything in that matter. Why the awesome life? So from team, it progresses to life. Thank you, Miguel, for that poster. And with an unshakable confidence, because as you said, in this pandemic, our confidence has been shaken, that we feel suddenly, what's my purpose now? I have no resolution of the situation. I haven't unearthed my creativity in this crisis. So it's an unshakable confidence. How has he transformed or progressed from team to life? And what is awesome life all about?
I guess this is actually an answer in a way to the question that you asked, Rosario, about work-life balance, right? So when you talk about awesome teams, especially we're all so used to thinking teams in businesses and in enterprise. Now we go to life. they are not opposing energies. They are harmonized energy. And so whatever and whoever you are in team must be the person you will be in life. Sometimes you'll be a little bit more creative, right? There are certain energies, like you need to be a warrior in the office, but you're a lover at home, right? And so there are two different energies, but they are not opposing. They are complementing each other. So awesome life is all about making us remember again that, through all of these things happening, when a lot of our conversations have turned sour and bitter and negative, that it truly still is an awesome life. And it really is just a reminder. There's nothing to actually prophesize about that. It's really just, we're ringing the bell here, guys, and making our sounds a little bit louder than the inner voices that you're hearing, so that we get to remember again that we are so blessed and privileged to be a part of this awesome world.
It was just Thanksgiving here in America.
Yes, happy
Although it's not
Thanksgiving.
Thank you. Although it's not celebrated worldwide, but it keeps us be reminded that despite in this pandemic madness, there's still so much to be thankful for and grateful. Uh, you know, Having life is something to be grateful for. And having reinvented yourself is something to be grateful for. And having
Yes.
an awesome conference that you offer to the people and to the world is something to be really grateful for. So, who are your featured speakers that we will learn from in this awesome life conference?
Yes, thank you. First and foremost, Rosario, you did mention Thanksgiving. So I really want to take this time, from the bottom of my heart to really say I appreciate you and I thank you for coming to us and for doing all of this, this show with us and for us. And helping us to actually just put forth this message to the world. So thank you for being our guardian angel, I guess. In terms of the speakers for Awesome Life, it's all about NLP plus many, many more. NLP is neuro linguistic programming. It is something that I have tried to learn a lot so that we could actually believe that we are, problem solvers and we are not victims of the circumstances around us. If we could take charge no matter what's happening around us. And we take charge of three things, no? The mind, our language, our emotions, our state, and our behavior. The other things, other people's response or reaction, what is happening to our world, we cannot take fully charge of that. It's something out of our hands, but how we respond to things is still ours to actually, program. So when we are actually able to, program this the right and resourceful way, we continue to have an awesome life. And so we have invited number one, the co-developer of NLP. She is one of those who founded NLP, through the 1970s and gave us this beautiful technology of thinking and taking charge of our mindset. Her name is Judith Delosier. So she has actually had a very, very long conversation with us, and we're going to actually share that as a resource, and we're also going to have her for a short time. And then we also have a master trainer of NLP in Singapore, my teacher, who I've learned NLP from. His name is Billy Kwek. And then we have also my friend who's also running Cohen. Her name is Barbara Young, and she's also a mind coach. She's with us here. And then plus all of our associates in NLP, in World Stage, and myself are there to actually just bring it alive and awesome for you. So there's so much to learn, in bite-sized form, so that we don't get too overwhelmed. It's just something to, a lot of nuggets of little wisdom bombs, so that we could remember again. This is a great life. It's a beautiful life. It's an awesome, awesome universe.
Your resource speakers, it's incredible that it's coming from other countries. So it is not something of local in the Philippines, but also an infusion of the international insights that whether you are from abroad or here, we are on a similar platform or similar plight in order to move forward. So I got intrigued a bit about your NLP because I read your CV and your bio. NLP. So it's neuro-linguistic programming, right? It has intrigued me a lot because, I've got a Z. My son is a Z generation. And I think they will benefit from this NLP thing because it's a mindset. Because I feel that they think the world is doomed already. They felt that their world has been robbed of their senior high school, of their prom, and their creativity has been curtailed. Do you do such a session for a Z generation on NLP in order to channel their mind in the right path? I feel they need to be enlightened, He always tells me, Mom, you're a baby boomer, so, you're like that. Yeah. So what do you say about that?
You're not definitely a baby boomer. Okay. Well, yes, we have Rosario. NLP is something, as young as 7-year-olds can digest if you give it in a language that they understand. We have done a lot of youth coaching, and we're going to do that again in 2021, somewhere, I guess, in August, right? In August, we're going to do something on NLP for the youth, for youth leaders. So watch out for that. And I hope, we could actually also partner with V81 to promote that. That's gonna happen, but they could come and join us this Saturday. It's for, it's intergenerational. There's, a palette for everybody to just enjoy a little bit of. It's like a menu. Take whatever can be helpful to your life, whatever your age is, whatever your circumstance is. So they can join us also this Saturday. So it's for everybody from teenagers up to, baby boomer. As long as we are actually breathing, we can attend this. And I think this is also for us, Rosario, right? We are looking to find answers to a lot of questions that we never knew how, we never learned to solve because, there's no prototype of this thing. This is the first time in our universe. We're all like babies. We're like blank slates. We're all trying to understand how to best navigate this. And I guess it's just a great time to learn for a person, a human being. Let's not forget that growth is not just for us professionally, but also for us as human beings.
Yeah, I think really your conference about life is very timely because, as you know, so many people have lost their life. And how can they say that they have such an awesome life if they lost their life? So can you teach us just a bits and pieces of the tool that can help people that may have lost their zest for life simply because they lost their job?
Well, it's hard to say this is an awesome life to people who actually went through a very awful time, and it's very important for us to properly name this. Right? It is a difficult, challenging time. You do not need to hurry back and feel awesome again. All you need to do is to actually go back to that one little tiny step forward, that nuance of a state or feeling that's going to help you at least get through it. So it is important that we don't. We are not Energizer bunnies here. Standing up and down and jumping and telling them, come on, wake up, when they don't like to wake up because their spirits are dead. And so it's so important sometimes we just listen. When you talk about tools, active listening is a tool. It's a very, very simple thing, but how do you really truly actively listen? You shut up the inner voices inside of you. We call it in NLP a state of nurk. Nurk means it's like you're an alien and you don't have any preconceived filters, and you go there and you listen to a person, so that when a person is talking, there's no judgment, there's no conclusion, there's no meaning. The Buddhist says, everything is empty of meaning until you give meaning to it. And so you just truly listen. And when you truly listen and give people that space to be listened to, they will find the answers themselves. Because in truth, we all know the answers to a lot of the questions that we're asking. But we're fighting, we're fighting and fighting, like, hanging onto the soap operas of our life to justify why we are the way we are and why we are acting the way we're acting. But there is an answer when we get past that state. So I guess, tools would be active listening, but there are also a lot of NLP tools like anchoring, like like spinning. How do you spin? Where in a heartbeat you don't have to actually wait for 5 sessions or 2. In a heartbeat, in a second, you could change state. You could move from one place, and that is really what change is all about. Meaning you don't get stuck in a spatial sense. You move from one place to the other. Spinning, anchoring, there's a lot of tools there. We're going to teach those tools on December 5, but it's really more about just learning to move your belief system from one that's not helpful to another place that's actually more helpful.
I like the art of listening. And I think the art of listening is one of the key traits of a leader. Because it's you have to listen to others and really do not prejudge them, but just listen and receive and absorb it very well. And as you said, in this pandemic, there's so many noise happening. And you have to also listen to yourself, the art of listening to yourself.
Yes.
And the art of listening of others. I like that. So that's an incredible tool. And I hope the young generation and the old generation and all generations should consider that as a powerful tool that they have at the tip of their fingers. Now, so we've spoken more or less about about the Awesome Life Conference. And I just want Miguel to show again this Awesome Life Conference poster. So we have here, you had the awesome team in November 25, and then you're coming up next on the Awesome Life Conference on December 5, Unbreakable Frames and Unshakable Confidence. On a nutshell, please tell our audience what to look forward for December 5 with this Awesome Life, and how can they register?
Awesome Life is all about NLP. We will learn to actually just manage our mindset, our belief system, our emotions, our states, our language. How do we actually verbally properly name some of our things, so that some of the things that we're feeling, so that we are able to actually access the best behavior that's required to produce a particular set of outcomes. In short, it's about being in charge. But we begin from the very basic presupposition: hold it as true. This is an awesome life. If we begin there, we will be in a generative state of growth and progress. And so that is all what this is all about. And there's a lot of feeling of, just sharing of positivity, smiles, learning how to actually talk to each other online. So you also learn all of these little insights here and there, so that you're able to actually improve, or improve the way you converse in an online platform. That's all gonna happen.
This is going to be on December 5,
December
right?
5, yes.
From what time to what time?
It's gonna start Philippine time, 8:30 to 5:30.
Okay, 8:30 in the morning to 5:30.
Yes.
So guys, don't miss this, the Awesome Life. And this is only one and part of parcel of the 4. Thank you, Miguel,
Yes.
for the poster. So that's really great, So after Awesome Life, the next one is you will have the Awesome People Conference. It's about effective communicator, and how this is even more important as we navigate the new normal, welcoming the new year of hope for 2021. But before we talk about that, we'd like to pause for a quick break and to see the teaser commercial of the Awesome People Conference. So, ladies and gentlemen, you've heard they had the Awesome Team Conference in November 25 and December 5. Do not miss the Awesome Life Conference, which is from 8:30 to 5:30. You'll know how to register. There's got an online how to register. So please don't go away. We'll be right back. Don't go away, Cherry. We're going to talk about next is about the Awesome Communicator. So let's have a quick break, Miguel.
We'll be back shortly. This is Talk Shop Asia Global USA Edition. Only here on V81 Radio Worldwide.